thank you so much for taking the time to ask me questions. So let's go ahead and get to answering some of them. The first questions I'm going to answer are from YouTube, and then I'll move over to Instagram. So the first question I'm going to answer is from Kathy Jovels. She says, love your videos. What's your favorite hobby right now? P.S. You're really cute. Big fan. Aw. My favorite hobby is probably playing otami games right now. Rachel Thompson-Smith says, what drew you to liking Jumin's character? And P.S. Thank you for introducing me to Mystic Messenger. This game has literally taken over my life. I am so sorry to everyone I introduced this game to. I feel like I gave out some kind of addictive thing. I'm not gonna say what, but I'm so sorry. What do you mean liking Jumin's character? I like how, even though he's kind of serious and comes across as cold, he's actually really sweet, and he just has a really cute personality, and I just like how he states the facts and he doesn't like to try and sugarcoat everything. So yeah, I like how straightforward he is. Next question is from Guling. What kind of job do you have? Love your channel. Oh, glad you like it. I am a director of tax exemption management at a tax company and I do clerical work and stuff. Ainsley Walter says, how long does it usually take for you to make a case? From designing to creating the pieces to getting the layouts approved to making the case, I would say anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Jan X Pro says, which one do you love more, Jumin or Haru? Okay, she's not the only one. A lot of people have put me in this bad situation. So I'm going to answer that question at the end because that was probably the most popular question. Artie Brittany says, how do you make a really pretty and cute case? Use pretty and cute pieces. Sakura Caitlin says, if you could choose one game or anime to live in, which would you choose? By the way, love your channel. Okay, I would love, of course, to bring Jumin Han to life or Haru, but if I could live in any game, it would probably be Wind Waker, because I just love how you can just ride around on a boat everywhere and you're so free to do anything, and there's always this nice breeze out and you can go to town. It's really cool and you can take photographs of everything. Yeah, I really love the atmosphere of Wind Waker. Helen Hunter says, what inspired you to start making Decadent phone cases? Also, what was your first anime? What inspired me to start making Decadent phone cases was I bought my first Decadent phone cases about over 2 years ago, and I found them through, I was looking for Sailor Moon items, and then I saw this really cute Sailor Moon Decadent case. So I bought a Sailor Moon and then a Hatsune Miku case at the same time. And about a month later, I went to Art Basel, and with my art professor and his girlfriend, my art professor's like, let me see that, and he saw the case, he's like, oh, this is really cute. He's like, you know, you can make these, and I was like, at the time, I was just like, oh yeah, well, I work full time, I don't have time for that. And then I got home from work, I don't know, 2 weeks later, and I was just so burned out, and I was like, is this it? And all I'm going to do with my life is work at a tax company? Don't get me wrong, I love my job, but I want to be creative. So I was like, you know, and then my art professor's words came to my mind, and I'm like, you know what, I can do this. I can start making Decadent cases on the side, and that's how I started, and I really enjoy it. I've met some of the sweetest people ever, so yes, that's how I started it. What was my first anime? Well, of course I watched Pokemon Sailor Moon in the 90s when I was a kid, but my first one I consider is Saint Tail. Artie Brittany says, how do you feel about the Sanrio... Oh wait, I gotta open this one, sorry, it's a longer. Artie Brittany says, how do you feel about the Sanrio Danshi app? I'm not sure if it'll be translated into English and available in America, but I hope so. I found you just by you being the only person drawing a piece of fan art and a video about Sanrio Danshi. Talking about it and I cry. You're the real MVP. I don't know any friends that like or know about Sanrio Danshi, so hope we can become friends and talk about it sometime. Oh my gosh, so I really, really, really want the Sanrio Danshi app to be translated and to be in America. I'm so, I love it so much, but I'm also depressed because I can't read it or play it. Sparkle Ice Demo says, I want you to make another beautiful room tour. Maybe in December. Japanese word for days. What did you study at college? I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree with a specialization in animation. Dasha Mayon says, did you forget about Haru now that you have Jumin? I didn't forget about Haru. Purple X Cotton X Cloud says, is it hard to Decadent if you're just starting? It's just like any craft. You just have to practice and get, to get better at it. Hamashiro Hiroka asks, when will you make Jumin Han themed deco cases? Blue Shiz says, what is your opinion for a girl that gets bullied every day badly and doesn't believe in herself? I'm sorry if this is you that is getting bullied, but I would talk to someone about it, and maybe not just your friends. I would talk to an adult, and I know people are like, oh, adults, they don't understand. Trust me, they do understand it. They remember being your age, and they have a lot more experience. And if you feel like you can't talk to your parents or you can't talk to the school counselor, I would suggest going to a Christian counselor at a church. I know people are like, oh, religion, but a good counselor will just want to help you get better, and they want you to get into a peaceful state of mind. So I would just talk to someone about it. And also, once you're free of the bully or whatever's going on, find your passion. Like, get passionate about something. Read manga, draw, learn a new craft or skill. Like, distract yourself from this, like, to help you get through this. So I'm sorry if that's bad advice, but that's what I would say. Sunny Pie says, what is your fave song? I love you so much. My favorite song is Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer. Taco Berry Vanilla Cake says, other than Haru from Free and Jumin from Mystic Messenger, who else are your anime crushes? Love your videos. I love Himura Tatsuya from Kuroko no Basket and Tuxedo Mask. Pow Pow says, kiss, marry, kill, Haru, Jumin, or Cloud. Okay, so here's the thing. I saw this question, and I saw, Abby, that you were like, haha, she's gonna die, I can't wait to see her reaction. Okay, here's the thing. I know I have, like, Cloud on my wall, but he's more of, like, those hang-in-there motivational posters. He's not like my husbando, because he's more like, I want to be, like, a tenth as pretty as Cloud one day, maybe. But if you had said Noctis, I would be on the floor writhing in pain right now. So even though Zach Fair died on the cross for our sins, I say kill Cloud. And kiss or marry Haru German. We'll save that for the end. Monster High Bigger Fan says, what is your favorite anime of all time? Top 5. I'm gonna do a top 10 anime video. I'm sorry, I know it's taking me forever. John's World says, what is your #1 favorite anime of all time? For the video. Abigailin says, Jumin Han? Jumin Han. Maybe Jumin Han will be our always. Maybe he will. Chantel says, how excited are you for the Kiss Him Not Me anime? And which one is your favorite boy? Mine is Asuma Mutsumi. Absolutely love that dork. Okay, I feel like Asuma deserves the main character because he loved her, or he was like nice to her and treated her kindly even when she was fat. But my personally favorite guy, and who I want her to get together with, is Yusuke Igarashi. I think that's how you say his name, because he looks like a young Sosuke, and I just like the mean type, and I hope he like shows a sweeter side. And he's also, I'm reading the manga, and he like kind of spoiled, but he's already kind of starting to like her even when she's fat or thin. So yeah, I really like him. And I'm so excited for the anime. Sorry, I forgot to say that. So excited. Niken Toikipitia, I'm sorry. What is your fave emoji? LOL, so randoms. Mine's Dis. She likes the arrow with the arrow going through the heart. I like the purple heart emoji. Cutie Tabby says, if your life was an anime, what anime studio will you choose? P.S. Love your videos, super cute. Well, thank you. Of course, I would choose Kyoto Animation because I want Haruka Nanase in my life. The Artistic Goddess 101 says, if one anime character was real and wanted to date you, who would it be? You didn't say game, anime, Haruka Nanase. Natalie C says, I have more than one question. My one question for now is, if you could just wear one anime character's outfit wardrobe for a year, whose would you wear? Also, I would love to see you, sorry, I had to load the longer comment. Also, I'd love to see you do a video on some tags. There's so many, I can't just say one. Okay, on the last thing, I'm going to be doing a Mystic Messenger tag video with a couple girls on Twitter, so stay tuned for that. And I would wear Cardcaptor Sakura's wardrobe because she has like Lolita cute fashion. Marisol Lee says, who are your top 5 husbandos biases? I think I can guess one, Jumin Han, haha, but who are the rest? I like Jumin Han, Haruka, Himura Tatsuya, Mamoto, and Ichinose Tokiya. Sally Blackrock says, what's your favorite anime? I'm going to do a video on that. And she also says, what is your horoscope? I'm a Gemini. Shiro Renji says, 50 Shades of Jumin Han. Okay, with the Jumin Han bad ending, everyone's calling it 50 Shades of Jumin Han. I did not realize I was getting the bad ending until it actually said, like, okay, so like, when he was like saying he wants to pick out your clothes and he wants to like control your life, I was like, okay, well he's smart, he's right, he's always right. And I was just so infatuated with him, I did not realize, like even when they showed the picture and like the dollhouse creepy music box music started playing, I was like, why are they playing this kind of creepy music during our romantic moment? And it wasn't until the screen actually said bad ending that I was just like, I think I lost. So yeah, I don't know, I'm okay with it. Liara3BB says, if you could be any magical creature, what would you be? P.S. You are awesome. No, you're awesome. I would be a mermaid, if that counts as a magical creature. Kisumiko says, do you listen to K-pop, and what type of music do you listen to? If you want to recommend some K-pop bands, I would like to listen to them, but I like Lifehouse, Sixpence None the Richer, All American Rejects, and just like emo songs like for Pipe, The Freshman and stuff, and cutesy romantic songs, so yeah. Jade Lady 4 says, how old were you when you started watching anime, and what's your favorite anime in the whole wide world? I would consider, well, I started watching Pokemon Sailor Moon when I was like 8 or 9, but I would say 10 when I watched Saint Tail was the first anime I watched. And I'm going to do a top anime. Afra S says, who's your favorite female character? Nene from Saint Tail, because she's so happy and nice, and she has a quirky taste in men like me, because with Asuka Jr. she's like, he's so cute when he's angry. Dylan Polo says, how long do you plan on having your Etsy shop? Until I don't like it making cases and cute things anymore, but I enjoy doing it, so as long as I want to. Yumi Kitty says, if you could choose one anime to live in, which would it be and why? I would say Free, but I'd probably get arrested for stalking Haruka, and I don't want to be in jail. So, it would probably be in, well, if I could be Usagi, I'd be in Sailor Moon because I want to marry Tuxedo Mask. Tallulah Shaw says, how many routes have you played through on Mystic Messenger? I want to do the deep story routes, but should I play through all the casual ones first? I've only played through Juman Han, and do whatever you want. If you want to date 707 or Juman Han, do it. Betas and Reptile says, what was the first anime that you ever watched? What is your favorite anime? When did you start watching anime? I kind of answered this, Saint Tail when I was 10. I'm going to have a top 10 anime list. Astral Moon says, why did you start getting into making Decadent cases? I kind of already answered that. Kaylin Timber Wolf's Gaming says, what are your future plans or goals? Please notice me, senpai. I will just want to keep working hard. I want to keep being creative, and I want to keep my opportunities open in the future. Anime Lover says, who is the best boy from Fruits Basket? Yuki. She also asked, you can only pick one, Haru or Juman? Cruel. Sanrio, Danchi, or Diabolic Lovers, and manga or anime. Okay, I'm going to answer number 2. I'm always going to pick Sanrio, because, even though I love hot vampires, because when I was like in middle school, I lost like all of my friends in my school group, and so the only thing that kept me happy was like going on the Sanrio website and reading about Hello Kitty and playing the games and like looking at the shop and hoping to own the things from Sanrio.com one day when I get a job and living in an apartment by myself, and yeah, I kind of did that now. In manga or anime, I would have said manga like a few years ago, but anime now. Marcus Majestic asks, which one do you love more, me or Kaneki? By the way, love your videos. Okay, I actually, my husbando from Tokyo Ghoul is Amon, so I'm going to say you because you watch my videos. Zoaxert says, most embarrassing moment. Okay, I embarrass myself a lot, so I'll just say a recent embarrassing moment. Someone at my church came up and they're like, hi Meg, how are you? I'm like, hi, and then I realized too late that she wanted to go in for a hug, so I went to hug her, but she had already turned to talk to someone else, and so I was hugging her, and she was like, not hugging back and hugging someone else, so it just looked like I was just like glomping onto her, and yeah, that was pretty embarrassing but funny too. Shyly Hobbs says, hi MegLovesCute, I love your YouTube channel and your phone cases, but I would like to ask, what are all the anime you watch? Well, the current one I'm watching right now is Sir Vamp, and like Licht is the best anime character of all time. I love him so much. He like hates life, and yet he wears an angel backpack and he's just like, I'm an angel, and I absolutely love his duck voice. It's so cute and attractive. Meloetta Pikachu says, what anime or shows are you watching and planning on watching? I'm watching Sir Vamp, and I'm planning on watching Kiss Him Not Me, Token Rambu, both versions of the anime that's coming out. Sorry, my hoodie's like covering my face. Attack on Titan Season 2, Haikyuu Season 3, and Uda no Prince Sama Season 4. Puppy Nugget 173 says, do you like the anime Say I Love You? It's like the reason I live. Okay. I never watched the anime, but I read the manga, and I was so into it. I was like, oh, this is so original. I love how tough the girl is. I love that she doesn't put up with any stuff from the boy. And I was so into it up until the one plot line, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the one plot line with the main boy and the mean girl, I just hated it, and I couldn't get past it. So it was amazing up until then. I haven't read it since. Michelle Mork says, if Juman was not in Mystic Messenger, which of the other characters would be your favorite right now? I would have picked Zen's route because he looked like he'd be fun, and I usually go for the characters that I kind of relate to because he came across as really desperate, and I can relate to that. So yeah, I would have picked Zen. I don't know if he would have been my favorite, but yeah. Celeste Buccio says, if Juman wasn't in Mystic Messenger, who would be your favorite? I probably would have picked Zen. And what if Haru wasn't in Free? Love you so much. Oh, you're so cute. I would have picked from Free Makoto because he's just a beefy man. Tea Time Birdie says, why are you so darn adorable? That's what I want to know. You're adorable, Tea Time Birdies. Kate R says, do you know Japanese? Also, your voice is so cute. Well, thank you. No, I don't know Japanese except for kawaii. Ashley Mystica says, if you could bring one of your favorite anime characters to life, who would it be? Or Mystic Messenger? Ah, you did both! Okay, I'll answer that at the end. Celeste Buccio also asks, have you ever thought of making Decadent badge reels? If someone wants it, I would. Kawaii Rainbow Sophie says, do you like Pokemon? And do you play Pokemon Go? Yes, I do like Pokemon, and I haven't been consistently playing Pokemon Go because I've been playing Mystic Messenger. Anna asks, is there any upcoming anime you're really looking forward to watch? Kiss Him Not Me. Jay Blady4 says, name all the anime boys you like. I kind of named some of them, but I also like Eren Yeager and Levi and Yuki from Fruits Basket. Eren Yeager and Levi are, of course, from Attack on Titan. Eleanor Sweet says, what's the cringiest piece of merch you ever bought? LOL. I own up to everything I buy, so. Just saw Dursafi, who says, what is your favorite meal? Ice cream. Mizu Namikaze asks, how did you feel when you got the good ending for Jumin Han? Was it worth it? Should I try it next after you songs? If you like Jumin, yeah. I kind of like the bad ending more, but yeah. A_LX says, how have such an artistic vision? What inspired you to do the stuff you do? I don't know, I just love creating things. I love making the world prettier, and yeah, what inspires me is cute things, pretty pastel. I also like the quote from Arina Tanamura where she says, I want people to look at the beautiful images inside of me, so that's what I do. I try and make people see what I see as beautiful, so yes. Captain Red Horse asks, did you see Suicide Squad? If so, what are your thoughts of Harley Quinn played by Margot Robbie? Okay, I know that the plot was kind of lame and that it kind of got crazy towards the end, but I thought the characters made the movie, like, pulled the movie along, and I really liked it actually. And I think Margot Robbie is so adorable as Harley Quinn. She's perfect, she's sassy, she has the same confidence. I love her. So yes, I really liked the movie. Chio Hanako says, you have an anime list. I'm too lazy to do that. I just kind of search and do that way. Yarumata Ramirez says, why did you start making your awesome phone cases and what inspired you? I kind of already said that. Sam Listelli asks, what brand of Deco Whip do you use? I don't know, I just kind of use like clear, black, or white, and I make my own colors, so I don't know, I switch off between brands. Yuki Hanabi X says, was there ever an anime that you ended up enjoying an English dub better than the Japanese? I know for me, for example, I like the Fruits Basket English dub better than the Japanese, so I wanted to know. I like the Fruits Basket dub better than the Japanese as well. I also like, my mind just went for like Princess Stride because I felt like Caitlin Glass actually really cared about the boys and she did a good job with that dub. I also like, my mind is wrong, I like the Pokemon dub. I like the Saint Tail dub a lot, so yeah. Okay, let's move to Instagram now. Lolita Longlegs asks, why are you late to work? Marta, you killed me off, so I'm not answering that. Happletog says, how long does it take to create a case? I've already answered that, about 1 to 2 hours. Becca Marie 20500 says, what is your favorite thing to do in your spare time? I like to sleep, play Atami games, read manga, or teen fiction. Perfectly Deranged says, do you plan on getting or already have the VIP package for Mystic Messenger? Let's just say there's going to be an unboxing video. Fancy Shizuo asks, how old are you? I am 27 or the same age as Jumin Han. Haruka's Dick says, has your heart truly abandoned Haruka for Jumin? Michelle, can you do this to me? I'll answer that at the end. Harlequin XX says, can you give any motivational tips on doing crafting or drawing? Look at pictures of what inspire you. I don't know, doodle a little bit. Just remember why you like to draw or why you like to craft. So yeah. Kiwi says, how do you get all the tiny bubbles out of resin? Fire. Hawaii Marinette says, where do you get your supplies, if I may ask? Oliple Art Supply Stores, Amazon, Etsy. Cherry Richardson says, what will be the name of you and Jumin's love babies? Elizabeth III. Oxwing Ravinsky says, can you read in any other language other than English? I can read un peu français. I can read a little bit of French, and that's about it. Maybe a little bit of Spanish, but that's it. Ashley Barra says, where did your love for anime start? P.S. I love your work. I would say it truly started, I mean, I know it's a manga, but like when I really got into anime was of course Saint Tail, but also my friend had a Cardcaptor Sakura manga, and I remember just picking up and being like, this is what I was born for, because the artwork is just so pretty. I love the magical girl stories. I love the characters, so yeah. I would say, I don't know, when I was like 10. Sweet Teok says, what are your interests and hobbies outside of Decadent and Jumin Han? I like to, I don't know if this is really a hobby because I consider it a profession, but I like to draw, I like to read, I like to play Otami games, and I like to sleep. King of Salt says, when did you start making Decadent cases and how did you find out about them? I kind of already answered that, but of course I found out about them while I was searching for Sailor Moon merchandise. Yaoi vs. Welt says, what's your favorite anime? I'll do a top 10. Sugar Sweet Craft Shop says, which brands of glitter do you use for your resin pieces? I just get whatever is like at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I think the brand I use for Michael's is called Recollections, and I also like the Martha Stewart glitter, but I don't know if they make the Martha Stewart glitter anymore. Nozomi Please says, who is your favorite other than Jumin route and Mystic Messenger? I haven't played any other routes, so I don't know. Gulchi Ilma says, where are you living? I live in Florida. Tira Not Tira says, what is your inspiration? Cute things, pretty things, sparkly things. Gina the Geek says, my question is, what would you do if Kokumi said he wanted to be your gym partner? I'd probably faint. I don't know, I'd be so nervous because like if he was jogging next to me and like I was jogging on the treadmill next to him, I would just like probably trip and hit my head on the treadmill bar and like bleed all over the place and die because I'd be so nervous. But, oh, Gina the Geek, you're my giveaway winner because I was going to do it randomly, but your question just kept making me picture Kokumi at the gym, like him shirtless, and I felt like that deserved to win. Cosplay by Kaylee says, what is your favorite thing about Jumin? I like how serious he is, but he's also really cute and nice, and he has a funny sense of humor, like a quirky sense of humor. Tarazuka says, what is your favorite manga series? I like Saint Tail a lot, and I also love anything by Rina Tanimura. Voltage Otaku Fangirl says, have you played Samurai Love Ballad Party? Yes, and my favorite is Toshi. I also like Masamune and Yukamura, but my favorite is Toshi. Steven Universe Trash Account says, how would you react if Jumin walked into your room this very second and kissed you? Oh, and then proposed. Well, depending on how he kissed me, I would either faint or scream if he proposed, so I'm hoping it's the former. Choco Vanil 5531 says, how long does a case usually take? I already answered that. Other than Jumin, who is your other husbandos? I kind of answered that. If you could buy a Decadent case that isn't yours, who would you buy from? I would buy from, I think it's called Milo Chow Jewelry, but they make these Sanrio cases where they look like cookies, and their cases just look like food, so yeah, I would buy that. So yeah, that's the last question. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Oh wait, I need to answer Jumin Haru. Okay, here's the thing. I know some people might not see this, but I find them to be very similar. They're both kind of quiet but serious. They both have obsessions, Haru with water, Jumin Han with cats, and Elizabeth III. And they're both nice and observant, and they're both honest about their emotions. But, okay, I don't know, here's the thing. Jumin Han is like an Utami game, so he can tell me he loves me, and he calls me his angel and his princess. Maybe if they made an Utami game with Haru where he says he loves me and he calls me his little mermaid, maybe then, but I know I have history with Haru, but I really, really like Jumin Han, like a lot. So I would kiss Haru and marry Jumin Han, but I'm gonna regret that, I know, but yes, as of right now. So yes. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and yes, thanks for taking the time to answer the questions and to ask me questions and to also watch this video. So thank you guys so much, and I will talk to y'all later. Have a sweet day. Bye!